welcome to Disney A, the Canadian-themed Disney travel podcast.
Oh, that's sped up there.
We're your hosts. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Krysta. Morning, Brandon.
Morning.
Yeah. We're recording Sunday morning. So what are you drinking on this Sunday morning?
Tasty coffee.
Yep.
But it's not black.
Nope.
There's a little something in
little
there.
something. Ditto. This same. Do you want me to tell you what's in there?
Delicious coffee.
Yeah, caffeine mostly is what's in there. Yeah. How are you?
But I thought you were going to tell what was in the coffee.
Oh, Carol Ann's.
Bailey's substitute.
Yeah, exactly. Bailey substitute. How was your week?
Oh, fine. I worked.
Yeah. Do you have a nerd thing for this past week?
Well, our Switch 2 finally came.
Mm-hmm.
I played a bunch of
Mario
Kart.
Mm-hmm.
It's Mario Karty.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to be a cow.
And you got to be the cow. That's what I was waiting for.
Cow. The cow, when the cow wins, gets very excited and shows off her udder.
It's true. Because she just stands
I'm
up.
like, come on, it's a kid's game.
I know.
Put those things away.
That's funny. Yeah, you said that a lot, though. So.
Yeah. And the NHL playoffs wrapped up.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was good.
Mm-hmm.
The Oilers lost, so that was fine.
Yeah.
How about you?
It was grad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was grad on Friday. We usually have it on 2 separate days, but this year we put it on the same day, and that was nice. But it makes for a long day, but it doesn't make for 2 long days, I guess. Because, yeah. So it was, they do, in the morning it's like capping gown and scholarships and stuff. And then in the evening they do like the fancy dress up and dinner and
dance and
exactly
prom-ish.
Prom-ish, yeah.
They don't call it prom, but prom-ish.
Some of them call we were trying to change the name to prom because it's like grad and grad is kind of weird and confusing. So
it is confusing.
Yeah. Anyway, but it's nice that it's all on the same day. It's grad day. And
yeah, and I don't know. When I was a kid, I didn't think much of high school graduation, but it is marking the passage of time. And,
that's more the thing. It's not like, I mean, it's a culmination of one part of your life, and there's very few times in life where you have a culminating event to mark that. It's more
usually just get old and go, ow, my back hurts.
That's the one. Personal experience.
Yeah.
Ditto. But it's nice, and it's also part of when the principal's giving a speech. She says, you know, like, especially in a small town, the kids usually know each other super well, like everyone in the class. And then it's probably the last time that they all, or most of them all anyway, will all be in the same room together at the same time.
Yeah.
And in a small town, when you've been doing that for like 18 years. Wow.
High school,
12 years.
High school was over 20 years ago for me.
Mm-hmm. Ditto.
Yes.
Because we're the same age.
And I probably couldn't pick out 90% of my high school fellow graduates in a room if I was in there with them right now.
I probably could pick up 25%. No, I probably could do 50. But
you could probably pick out most of them. Honestly, you had a really small town.
How many people were in your graduating class? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
I remember we had 35.
Oh yeah, I think ours was close to 100.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, okay. So I could definitely pick out most of them, but some I haven't seen since then. Some I never saw again and won't because they're no longer with us.
Yeah.
So it's like a big culminating event.
I wouldn't even know if they were no longer. Yeah. So anyway, it is a change in your life.
It is. And
I guess.
excellent speeches this year. Like really stood out. Very good. So yeah, anyway, it was good. It was nice. And, that was my big nerd thing. School's wrapping up. This is my last week of school here coming up, so.
Right.
Yeah. And it's just like monitoring tests and cleaning out the classroom and all that kind of stuff, so. Yeah.
Exciting. Wow.
Well,
that means summertime is coming. It was the first day of summer.
Yep.
On Friday.
It poured rain.
And it's been a dreary.
Yep.
It didn't snow, though, so.
It snowed near here, but not here.
Yeah. It does often snow on the first day of summer. We're never beating those allegations of it being a winter hellscape all year round.
But I was explaining to someone, because I was saying how we travel during the summer, because of course my job and stuff. And they're like, but don't you go to like warm places? I said, sometimes and everything. And I'm like, sometimes it's like cooler there than it is here. Like it gets hot during the summer, just not right now. The furnace just cut in.
I turned that off. It didn't need to be.
Yeah, we're not beating the allegations. We don't live in an igloo, at least.
No. No.
Could.
Depends on how the economy goes in the next few months, I guess. I don't know.
But yeah, so that's about it for the nerd thing. That's just all I'm doing.
Cool.
Playing games.
Yeah.
On Switch. There are now 3 Switches in this house. You want to know how many Animal Crossing islands I now have? 3.
That is the weird thing about Animal Crossing. You need a whole new piece of hardware to start a new fresh island. I hope when they make a new one that they do something
figure that out
different, because it wasn't like that in the original GameCube. You could have different save files.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know.
That was back in the day of memory cards.
Way back when. That's true. That is true. We don't have a new show right now, except Ironheart is starting this
on Tuesday.
Yes.
It's starting on this Tuesday and then ending on the following Tuesday.
Yeah. So
6 episodes, bang, bang, done.
I don't know if we're going to watch all 3 right away, but we'll watch it.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be watchable.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, whatever. We'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be a pleasant surprise.
I hope so.
I thought Echo was going to be terrible.
Echo was so good. I loved Echo.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say so good.
No, I liked it a lot.
Good.
I liked it a lot. Now, was it like transformative? Am I going to rewatch it? No, but I was very enjoyable and I liked it. Let's head to the news. Disney A News Update. So, speaking of things coming out, we've got some summer movies on the horizon, and we've got DC news. DCU?
It is.
Is the DCU now?
It's called the DCU. So back when Zack Snyder was directing The Man of Steel, and then Batman versus Superman and Aquaman and all that, that was the DCEU.
Okay.
The E stood for expanded or something.
Okay.
I don't know. Whatever. It was the DCEU anyway.
Right.
And now those movies all failed horribly.
Yeah.
And Zack Snyder is no longer... He's now directing Wish.com Star Wars for Netflix, which is also terrible. And James Gunn has been poached from Guardians of the Galaxy
and James
fame.
Gunn is amazing.
And he's pretty good, and he's kind of like the Kevin Feige of the new DCU, and he's the first official movie in that new universe is coming out in like a couple weeks, and it's Superman.
Yeah, and he's just been doing lots of press, basically, because of this.
Yeah, so the DC is kind of confusing because they've had lots of animated movies based on comic books going on in the background under Warner Brothers Animation for a long time, and then they've had the various iterations of Batman and various iterations of Superman, and now they're trying to bring things back to... Oh, and also a musical Joker for some reason.
Which we never saw. I still actually want to see it. I heard it was just terrible.
Awful.
But I was like, I really like musicals, and Joker was pretty good. But apparently it like really missed the mark, so...
The first Joker was okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it insists upon itself. Which is also the problem with the Batman that's currently still ongoing, not part of the DCU.
See, this is where it gets super, super confusing. Do you want to explain this?
With Robert Pattinson, they just kind of made the Batman off to the side, not associated with anything, which, whatever, that's how movies used to be, like, who cares, but it's still, when you're trying to build a shared universe, the general population gets really confused about that. They're like, why isn't Batman appearing with Spider-Man at the best of times? Right? Like, so anyway, it's all going on. I'm kind of excited. they've also released an animated show, Creature Commandos, that was on HBO or whatever. That was apparently pretty good. That's in the universe, and Peacemaker Season 2 is going to show how Peacemaker from the Suicide Squad, which James Gunn also did.
Yes, and that one was good.
The Suicide Squad.
That was like the best DC movie that I can think of.
Yeah, it was really funny.
In a very long time.
And really good action and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what James Gunn does. Hopefully they untangle the tangles.
Mess.
And the trailers for the Superman movie look good.
They're going very classic Superman with this, which I think is probably a good choice.
They've got the John Williams score back from the original Donner Superman.
That was actually pretty cool, like that trailer. And
which we've seen in theaters, actually.
Did.
And it holds up, that first one. Like, some of the other Christopher Reeve ones are not great, but that first one is pretty good. I
was super pleasantly surprised, actually, watching that. I was just like, oh, this will just be funny, like, whatever. We can say we watched it. And I was like, oh, no, that was, like, entertaining and things.
So, anyway, they're going for that feel, and I think that's what you should do for Superman. He doesn't need to be some mopey guy. I liked Henry Cavill
I thought he made a good Superman,
but the scripts and plots were...
Yeah, that's not his fault. Yeah, I did think he made an excellent Superman, though. And actually, I don't have a problem with Robert Pattinson as Batman in that little world, but I just think the whole universe and DC is a mess, and good luck, James Gunn, trying to figure that out.
Robert Pattinson has redeemed himself from his Twilight days. He got paid handsomely to act a fool in those terrible movies, but he's a really good actor.
He actually is really good.
He was a way better Batman than I was expecting.
Yeah.
He was a way worse Bruce Wayne than I was expecting.
Ooh, I can see what you're saying. Yeah. He did make a good Batman, and I remember being surprised by that. Yeah.
I thought that was going to be the hard part for him, but no, his Bruce Wayne was kind of emo, mopey, annoying to me. So
I get that though. But I think that might have been a choice they were making. So anyway, I'm excited to see them like try and maneuver their way through this.
I've liked pretty much everything James Gunn has ever done.
I like Marvel better than DCU stories, but a lot of that is because we've had good Marvel movies and we haven't really had many good DCU movies. DC movies.
He was heavily involved. Now I'd have to look it up because I'm not really prepared, but he was heavily involved in the Dawn of the Dead remake, apparently, which was one of the better zombie movies in general.
That's cool.
Which leads us into the next summer movie that's coming out.
Oh, yeah, right away.
28 years later, not kid-friendly.
No.
The 28 Days franchise is quite violent.
It is.
But apparently it's quite good.
Which I'm so happy about because I really, really like 28 Days Later stuck with me as me remembering
by coming out. I'm pretty sure it came out on Friday.
Oh, right. Okay, well.
Yeah.
So I was really excited to hear they were making a 28 Years Later, and then I was like, but I don't know. And
these belated sequels are hit and miss.
Yeah, but you said it's been getting excellent reviews. Yeah. So awesome. That's a good summer type movie too.
I will say I think 28 Days Later is my favorite zombie movie ever.
I could see that.
All due respect to like the classic Night of the Living Dead type thing.
Right.
Good for its time and invented the genre kind of thing.
Yeah.
But 28 Days Later is
what 28 Days Later did is basically the same reason I like MCU stuff. And that is because you tell this story with all action or zombies or whatever, but you have like actual human stories as well. And 28 Days Later, it's like the part that messed me up is like, hey, what are humans like during this?
Yeah.
And some are excellent and some are horrible. And that makes sense. Like it's realistic. And I think that's also what the MCU has done. That look at that full circle little comment there.
Yeah. And that the zombie genre has always been like the George Romero Night of Dawn of the Dead kind of thing. There was always the human interactions in the midst of the crisis of the zombies that made them work.
Yeah.
So 28 Days just made it
so good.
Like
it was so good.
Turn that to 11, and I just really liked
it. Yeah, I totally agree, and I really, really liked it. Now all of a sudden, I'm excited to see 28 Years Later.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of was like, maybe like Halloween or something. We'll like toss it on or whatever. But now I'm like, I really want to see it.
I can't say that we'll have time to rush out to the theater to see it.
No, but it would be a recommend that we will watch.
Yeah. If we had a closer theater, I would have seen it already, probably.
Yeah, I agree. That's exciting. And then the other big summer movie coming out in less than a month. Yeah, less than a month now.
Well, no, first.
Oh, I'm not.
Jurassic Park.
Oh, yes. Okay. Jurassic World. This is the first Jurassic World movie I've wanted to see since the first Jurassic World movie.
The first Jurassic World movie was okay.
Yeah. It was exciting because they did all these nods to the original movie.
I have not seen any of the other ones.
Me neither. And I didn't care to.
I was mildly interested in the last one that came out. That was like pure nostalgia bait because they had the original crew come back and the trailers looked pretty good, but then it came out and it was apparently really bad.
Yeah.
So
I still think I want to watch it though eventually. You can just like, obviously I'm not in a hurry to because I haven't seen it yet. But this one I'm like, I don't know if they're just doing good marketing for it or what.
The cast is very good. Scarlett Johansson.
That's true.
Puts in a good action turn.
I really like
in quite a few of her things, and obviously is a very good actress.
And can act like
very good actress, and her running around in little skimpy.
You're terrible. It's
a skimpy jungle shorts, and she's got a jungle sweat on. Yeah, that's okay too.
Yeah, you're okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
You can see past that to the acting underneath. Yeah. Okay. But I don't know. Like, I'm kind of interested to see this one. Very popcorn movie-ish, I'm sure, which is good for this time of year.
Yes.
I'm curious to see what the reviews say.
Well, we should find out soon because I think it's coming out.
I think it's like this week, isn't it?
I think it's coming out a couple weeks before Superman.
Oh, okay.
So very soon. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't look up the dates for any of these things.
No. We're just like upcoming summer movies, right?
Yeah. Jurassic Park, very early July.
Yeah.
Superman, first half of July. Then Fantastic Four, which we're going to talk about next.
Yeah, that's the next
is
one.
at the end of July.
Yeah. Okay, so Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four is the other one. We're kind of also running through all this because we've talked before. We are going to be gone the entire month of July.
Yeah, good time to be gone if you're wanting to watch a movie. Not really.
No, it's not.
We're going to be doing more exciting things like sipping wine.
Yes, and we will watch all the movies that we want to watch. Like, the biggest one for me is I'm sad we're not going to see Fantastic Four opening night.
Yeah, well, probably not as sad as me, but...
No. I'm more sad for you. Yeah.
We will be somewhere in Tuscany.
Life's tough all over.
I guess I won't go see. I won't go see
Italian
the Thing. Signor Clobbering Time, or however he would say it in Italian.
Not like that.
No.
No. I can almost guarantee it won't be like that. Yeah, but this one is really good. We're really excited for this. Lots of people have been talking about like the popcorn buckets and stuff that are coming out for everything.
So you're talking about popcorn movies, and that's typical. Speaking of, it was the 50th anniversary of Jaws,
which is considered the first summer blockbuster.
Yes,
50th anniversary. Wow,
made an absolute ton of money back in the 70s.
Speaking of old movies that stand up, hey?
Yeah.
Like, that is a good movie.
It's solid. Very solid, and maybe by accident, because if the shark had worked as it intended, would it have been as good?
I honestly don't think so. Have you seen it recently?
Somewhat recently, within the last 5 years. I think we watched it during COVID or something.
Okay, yeah. So I taught it. We probably watched it before I taught it, is probably what it was, a couple years ago. And I was shocked, first of all, that the rating was okay because it's considered monster violence instead of human violence.
That third act gets quite gory, actually.
But it was one of those years where I had mostly like older kids and stuff like that and get all the list approved and everything. But the whole time the kids were like, I've heard of Jaws. I've never seen it. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, no.
You can keep Gen Z attention. Good job.
Yeah, so popcorn films, typical, usually action, kind of lighthearted. You don't have to think too hard. Nope. And you munch on your popcorn.
Exactly.
And the theater industry has been kind of dying. It was kind of dying before, but COVID especially has, like, you almost had a second renaissance when the MCU was at its height with, like, Infinity War and Endgame, where theater going was like this communal experience, and everyone and their dog was watching your big Avengers movies, and you had the absence of your middle of the road, your rom-coms, your comedies, which is still true as well. But you still had these tentpoles that were event films. But then COVID came along, and you weren't allowed to go to the theater.
Exactly.
And ever since then, people have been going to the theater less and less, even for these tentpole movies like Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts was so good.
Very good movie, very well marketed, and good word of mouth, but it is going to end up losing money on its theatrical,
which is crazy.
Which is very disheartening.
It is. It's really unfortunate. And then people turn around and complain about the lack of new movies that come out. It's like, well, you don't go see them.
Yeah. So anyway, the theater industry is suffering. Yeah. And the latest thing, borrowing from a Disney trope, basically, is the proliferation of popcorn buckets.
Yes.
Proliferation of popcorn buckets. Summer movie season. That's the title.
I love it.
It really took steam, I think, with the Dune popcorn bucket because of the memes.
That's true.
But it's been kind of going for a little while, and now it's basically every new big movie, you come out with a slate of popcorn buckets.
And that's the thing. It's a collection of them.
Every theater chain has their own. There's a couple down in the States. You got your, like, Cinemark and AMC is the big one.
That's the one where they're like, what bucket are they going to release?
And Cineplex in Canada usually gets the AMC ones. Yeah. But in very, very limited quantity.
Yeah, and nowhere near us.
Yeah. The one I really wanted was the D20 bucket.
Yes.
For the Dungeons and Dragons
Yeah, that
movie.
one was really good.
Really good. But if you weren't there the Thursday at 5 p.m., you weren't getting one.
Exactly. And not every Cineplex gets them in Canada, and the ones that do get, like, 5, and I'm probably not even exaggerating that much, honestly.
So they range from, like, just a simple metal tin to crazy stuff. Like, for Jurassic Park, they have an embryo in, like, a glowing container.
So cool.
That I think you can also put a drink in.
Wow.
And popcorn.
That's amazing.
Nosferatu had one where it was like his coffin.
And then I was like, wait, I want a Nosferatu popcorn bucket because that's really cool.
It was very cool. And Nosferatu had one. Like, that's not...
Yes. Yeah. Deadpool and Wolverine had one, but of course they did. But Nosferatu, like, what? Yeah. So the Galactus one for Fantastic Four.
Well, Fantastic Four has a wide range. Like, they have... I think AMC alone has 4 different ones.
Wow, I didn't know they had that many.
They have it's kind of like a traditional tin style bucket, but it's totem style. So there's 4 tiers for each of the Fantastic Four. So like there's a stretchy one, an invisible-y one, a flaming one, and a rocky one. And then they have one where it's a little Mr. Fantastic holding the bucket with his stretchy arm around.
That's cool. I like that.
And probably some other simple ones. And then, the one that's making headlines is the Galactus one, which they're advertising as the largest popcorn bucket in the galaxy.
Of course.
And it is massive.
It's huge.
It apparently holds 320 ounces of popcorn
That's crazy.
Something.
Yeah, it's insane.
Which is crazy, and his eyes light up, and it's huge.
And it's $80.
It is $80. So
all of a sudden, those ones in Disneyland don't seem that expensive now, do they?
Some of the ones in Disneyland are close to that.
Okay, fine.
But... yeah, so, I mean, it's a collector's item. It's not like everyone is going to go buy one, but people like me would be kind of tempted. I'm not going to have the opportunity to do it.
No, we're not going to have the opportunity, but if we did, I'd be like, I think we should try and go get a bucket.
That price is quite outrageous, but it would make a cool decoration for our nerd basement. And,
yes.
I don't know, it lights up, and
I don't know. I think it's cool.
I'm of two minds. Like, Go ahead. Go crazy with the merch.
Yeah.
If you're going to save theaters and people don't have to buy it if they don't want to. It's
exactly.
Not, yeah.
That's exactly right. Some people will, and that they'll do what, yeah.
Better than continually raising ticket prices and
exactly.
making it unfeasible for a family of 4 to go to the theater.
I actually think this is a really good approach to it. And it's not like they're releasing them everywhere, and they don't have tons anywhere, so it's doing this like rarity or scarcity.
Well, there's an extra trouble with that, because then you'll have scalpers.
eBay.
But
That's true.
Yeah. But
anyway, it is whatever, if it helps keep the theaters open, I'm happy about it.
Yeah, I really enjoy a solid movie-going experience.
Me too.
Now, those are fewer and fewer far between,
well,
because
also they're releasing fewer movies.
they're releasing fewer movies. The etiquette in theaters has kind of gone down the toilet as well since COVID, because people stop going to theaters and are used to watching movies in their house, so they carry on conversations.
Oh, it's terrible.
Even at Thunderbolts, there was people having a conversation behind us.
Right behind us, yeah. And they were, like, not teenagers or children or anything.
I thought they were teenagers.
I think there was, like, a teenager and their mother.
Oh.
Like, it's when it's adults that really... I'm like, just tell them to be quiet.
Yeah, so I get it, but sometimes, like... Watching Wicked in theater was a great experience.
That was amazing. That's true. That was a really, really good theater going experience. Speaking of movies and theaters and things like that, like you said, there's fewer rom-coms, almost none actually.
They all go to streaming.
Yeah, I mean that are released in theaters now, which is bizarre to me. Not bizarre, but like it makes sense. But it's just, remember when there was all the time there was something.
Well,
and then comedies.
So it used to be you could make a mid-budget romantic comedy or comedy and make a bunch of money. You'd spend most of your budget on the A-list actors that were the draw.
Exactly.
And that doesn't really exist anymore either. The only mid-level budgeted movie that has any success anymore is the horror genre, which has exploded.
Yeah.
That makes tons of money.
Yeah.
That's an easy sell.
Well, and they've started making really good horror movies. This is a big part of it.
A24 has been constantly hitting it out of the park with just random horror movies. But they're cheap, and they're good, and they're a good theater-going experience.
And they've kind of done the same thing now, where now they bring in an A-list actor to do something, or
not
or
even,
whatever.
though.
But sometimes they're making A-list actors because of their roles in this. Florence Pugh was in Midsommar.
Yeah.
And she wasn't an unknown name at the time, but she wasn't known like she is now. Like,
yeah, you probably wouldn't get her in a movie like that anymore because it would be too expensive. Like, they have lower budgets, and then they can make money. So,
well, you had Demi Moore in Substance.
Yeah, well, she's... I mean, as part of the plot, she's past her prime, and so
but
it
she's
made
still
sense.
You still have to pay for her.
Yeah, probably not that much.
But I did want to mention, we're talking summer movies and things like that. There is a comedy coming out that is, all of a sudden, I'm like, do I want to see this? Liam Neeson is in. Is it just called?
It's called The Naked Gun.
The Naked Gun.
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, is this called Naked Gun? No, The Naked Gun.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
all right.
It's a reboot, but it's actually a sequel.
Oh,
It takes place in the same Naked Gun universe. And they're like the sons of the original Naked Gun. Cass is what, like, they're somehow related. They even make a joke about OJ, because of course OJ was in the original Naked Gun movie.
That's funny.
And I don't know.
Also, but they're advertising like this is the first comedy I've seen widely advertised and marketed in a long time.
Not counting Adam Sandler Netflix movies. Which, of course, there is another one coming out.
Is there actually?
Happy Gilmore 2.
Oh, that's right. I did see that.
That's coming to Netflix.
And there's a new Rebel Wilson movie coming out. And that's, I think, trying to, like, remember Bridesmaids? For hey guys, if you remember Bridesmaids, you remember Bridesmaids? I know that's not Rebel Wilson, but like that's the vibe of it.
Yeah. She does that kind of comedy.
Yeah.
And I did see a thumbnail for that, so I kind of know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But it's also like it's comedy. It's supposed to be like funny actiony kind of thing. Like she's a bridesmaid at a wedding. That's why I said Bridesmaids. And something like, I don't know, people are trying to rob them or something, and so they all like turn into action stars.
I don't have much hope for that one. So
no, but those are the only advertising ones I've seen.
Right. But these they're going for this legacy sequel. Bride weird thing aside. Because you got, The Naked Gun, Happy Gilmore 2, we had the Dumb and Dumber one a couple years ago.
I forgot about that.
And we didn't talk about it on last episode, but Spaceballs 2 was announced.
We should talk about that. I was going to say Freakier Friday.
Oh, yeah. That's
a comedy.
So they're trying, I guess.
Because they're like, hey, who will come to comedies? Millennials. Okay, we got to figure out what movies they liked. We'll just do the same ones.
So, yes, they are heavily relying on nostalgia bait for a lot of these things, but
at least they're trying something.
At least they're trying.
And if they're good, like
comedy's hard. Comedy sequels
really
even harder.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk Spaceballs. Best trailer for this ever.
Well,
teaser. I guess it's a teaser.
It's very much a teaser. It's not coming out till 2027, at which point Mel Brooks will be 101 years old.
Wow. Make this movie quickly, please.
Well, hopefully they film it
like now.
He was in the teaser
and looks pretty dang good.
Looking pretty good. Yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
And so it was just a Star Wars style crawl making fun of all of the franchises with all the major entries.
There have been this many MCU movies and this many DC movies and this many things, and
so I'm somewhat hopeful. I think there's a lot of good content for Spaceballs to parody in a sequel.
Yeah.
You could have a little section of the movie be dark and gritty and make fun of Andor and make fun of the sequels and whatever. We don't know what it's going to be called, if it's going to be called Spaceballs 2. Of course, in the first Spaceballs, they make fun of doing sequels. And
that's true, they did.
They talk about Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money. So people,
I really hope they call it that, actually.
People really want them to call it Spaceballs 3, The Search for Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money. And I think that would be brilliant.
That's so much better. That's amazing.
I think that would be awesome. So,
I don't know if they will, but that is amazing.
Mel Brooks is good at meta stuff like that. So
and that sounds like something they would do.
Yeah.
So, that's amazing. Yeah. So this was really exciting to me.
I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be terrible, but whatever.
Yeah, it's not like we're not going to watch it. I just hope it isn't really, 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 really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's like all of the remaining original cast are coming back for it.
Yeah. Everyone who can is coming.
Including, Bill Pullman is going to reprise his role, but his son, that was Sentry.
Yes.
Lewis Pullman is going to play his son in the movie.
That's really cool.
Lone
Star.
Bob? Yeah, Bob.
He just keeps playing Bob.
Yeah, he's just Bob.
If his name's not Bob in here, I'm gonna be like really annoyed.
It probably won't be.
Probably not, but it'd be funny.
Yeah, so.
But everyone calls me Bob. He can like introduce himself.
It'll be good. Like, because they do look a lot alike.
They do. Literally, it's even if you didn't know their names and you put them side by side, you'd be like, that must be his son, right? Yeah. But no, because he played Bob in the Top Gun movie, and then he played Bob in Thunderbolts.
It's true, yeah.
So, yeah. But that's why I was like, his name should just be Bob. Yeah, so that's exciting. And then, what do you think? Do you think that we'll have comedies and rom-coms, but mostly comedies I'm talking about here, back in theaters?
I don't know. It depends on if we get some successes, and Hollywood's very copycat. They chase what has worked. Very risk averse.
Yeah, which makes sense when you're dumping billions of dollars into something. The Naked Gun actually looks funny. But I don't think it would work if you had anyone who wasn't Liam Neeson in the role.
He plays a very good straight man for something that's going to be so slapstick.
Yeah.
So, yes.
He's just mocking himself the entire time.
Which is what Leslie Nielsen did in those movies. He played it dry, straight, and all the wacky stuff was happening around him, and it just
that's what works.
That's how it works.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a little different because Leslie Nielsen was a comedic actor who was doing an action role. Liam Neeson is an action actor doing a comedic role. He's done both, of course.
He has, yeah.
But part of what's funny is, like, he's like, I'm just playing Taken, but...
He even uses the voice quite a bit.
Exactly. Like, that's why it's funny. He spoofs himself all the time on comedy shows, and like he's done it on SNL and everything else.
Yeah, he's done some good comedy sketches.
Where he most of the time is self-deprecating. But so this is the one I'm really optimistic for, and I really want to see Freakier Friday and Spaceballs. I don't know about the other ones.
we got a ways to go for Spaceballs, but yes.
But I'm just like things I'm optimistic for anyway.
Yeah.
Did we have any? Oh, the other trailer we did talk about how the second Wicked movie had its trailer. This is a long ways from now, but when we're talking about really good theater going experiences, I think this is a need to see in theater situation.
Yeah, probably,
if possible.
I'm the longer it goes on, I'm the less optimistic I am for this, because the second half of the Wicked musical is a lot weaker, so I don't know how you make a whole movie out of it. They have two new songs, and that's always a big risk, so I don't know.
I don't know who's writing the two new songs. That's part of it.
I think it's the same.
Oh, that could be okay.
The dude who wrote the playbook
the
or
original,
whatever.
Well, that's slightly optimistic then.
So I think we shall see. The director of Wicked's follow-up project was announced as well.
Oh, yes.
Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat,
which is
going to bring to you.
We've seen this live.
It's a pretty good musical.
I like it. Yeah.
I mean, it's religious, but not hit you over the head.
There's a lot of religious musicals, though.
Yeah. That was kind of a common thing that they used to bring musicals in, but I don't know. I like it. So
I like it.
I think you could do a good movie of that.
I think it will translate well but I mean, he did really well with part 1 of Wicked, like better than I was expecting. So I'm optimistic about this one. I think I don't know about always, but I think for a long time there'll still be places for spectacles in the theater. Yes,
and musicals lend themselves well to spectacle, even though some people just don't like musicals.
Yeah, which I have opinions on, but so that was kind of my news for all the movies and things that are coming out. The only really Disney Parks news is there's a bunch of closures going on. But, like, I mean, there's always a bunch of closures going on. But more so that I said I was surprised because they've had Matterhorn's down for probably the whole summer, is my guess. At least till the end of July.
They're doing a lot of work on the old Matterhorn.
Yeah. They've been doing it in sections because the code has been basically grandfathered in.
You would not be allowed to build a mountain in the middle of Orange County anymore.
Yeah, exactly. But I said what's disappointing is Matterhorn's down right now for a long time. Tiki Room is opening in July, but I said, like, anyone who's there for the 70th anniversary right now is missing 2 classic major...
Neither of them were open for opening day, but they are very classic, yeah.
And then Storybook Land, which was an opening day attraction, by the way, is going to be going down here pretty quickly. This summer, anyway. We don't know what for. Maybe shade structure.
Nothing exciting, I don't know.
But I was just like, man, they're like closing a lot of like classic stuff during the 70th.
Yeah, so it's all kind of refurb type things going on in Disneyland, but there's a lot of construction going on for the aforementioned expansions we talked about at DCA.
Yeah,
they're digging.
They are. And they haven't shut down attractions yet for this.
Just put up walls.
Just lots of walls.
You can't get from Avengers Campus to Cars Land anymore.
Which is too bad, because I always like that little transition-y area there. Mostly because I just think that's a hard transition, and I thought they did well with it. So they have that, and then walls, and there's a lot of stuff going on in downtown Disney around Tortilla Joe's that isn't there anymore.
Yeah, Tortilla Joe's.
All right.
He gone.
And then we were watching Fresh Baked, and he was doing like the walk around. Man, I never was like super anti that sign for downtown Disney that's on the end there, but oh man, it did not look good now.
Well, they're putting a new facade on the old ESPN building to make it look more in line with the new
such a good idea
entryway, downtown Disney entryway that's near the Disneyland Hotel, with the like retro modern looking pass through
very
bricks.
mid-century
mid-century modern type of styling, and they're doing that same theme across to the ESPN building, the old ESPN. I don't know what's going in there. I don't think they've really announced it, but
I don't think so.
They're, I guess, putting all this money into it, so they're going to use it for something.
Yeah,
and it does look better, but
much better.
You have this 1990s god-awful blue steel thing that just looks so out of place now.
It never bothered me. Yeah. Like, I know people were like, oh, that's fine. I was like, yeah, it's a little dated, but like, whatever. And then they started fixing stuff up. I'm like, yeah, okay, it's a little dated, whatever. And now that it's the only thing like that, it's like a flashing neon sign.
I'm surprised it is still there. Like, just take it down.
Just take it down. Just take it down. What did I say yesterday? I was like, literally, I will donate a can of white spray paint because it would make it better.
I don't think you need to donate anything to Disney. I mean, Thunderbolts did lose money, but they're still doing they're okay. They're going to be okay.
But my point is, that would make
We're not going to have Sarah McLachlan singing with black and white pictures of Bob Iger. We're not there yet.
Speaking of, Elio is out.
Yeah. Not helping, but apparently the lowest opening for a Disney animated movie of all time.
Pixar.
Oh, Pixar.
Even worse.
Yeah.
Disney animated has had some low openings, but Pixar usually, especially, just as a reminder, this is the first Pixar movie release since Inside Out 2, which set records for the highest.
I kind of saw this coming.
Me too.
This was a tough sell. It looks okay, but it kind of looks just very generic.
Well, yeah, it looks exactly.
It looks like something that
would go straight to streaming.
DreamWorks or Illumination would have come up with that doesn't have Minions or Madagascar penguins in it. So it was a tough sell. Whatever. It'll go on to streaming and kids will watch it.
Sure.
And it is what it is.
They're also shooting themselves in the foot because Lilo and Stitch live action is making a lot of money.
Well, that's that, and on the other side, How to Train Your Dragon live action remake is supposed to be good, and it's doing quite well.
And
so
there's only so many kids movies that the theaters can support nowadays.
Yes, but now I think they're going to learn the wrong lessons from this and start churning out more live action crap.
You know what? I've seen this before, and I 100% agree. If you're going to do live action remakes of stuff, I have a suggestion. Muppets.
Yeah, Muppets. That'd be great. Do more Muppets.
I am in favor of... And you know what? If you want to remake any of the remakes already, do it. Just change some of the characters to Muppets.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I'm there for it.
I don't think that would sell very well either, but I would like it.
You know what? I don't know, because millennials, we like her. That's true. Muppets were still like a niche thing.
Very niche.
Always, yeah. Well, anyway, that is how to solve all the problems. Add Muppets. And think about, like, when they closed Muppet Vision in Florida. Like, think about all the turnout for that. There's huge nostalgia right now for Muppets.
Still niche, but yes.
You would do better with
There's
that.
a loud vocal minority that love the Muppets, and then you have your general populace that are like, oh yeah, I saw Sesame Street once.
Oh, general populace sucks. The Muppets are amazing. You're right. I think they're learning the wrong lesson from this.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, like, Lilo and Stitch I don't even know if it's supposed to be that good. It's just making a bunch of money because nostalgia, mostly. Young millennials.
So get ready for the Tangled live action remake and the Frozen live action remake, and
Oh, I'm sure it's gonna happen.
well, they're already making Moana live action remake, so
Yeah. See, and that stuff's too recent.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's gonna happen.
If you're going to like remake stuff, go like super super classic. I like Jungle Book.
Jungle Book was the only good one. That's because the original was kind of a mess. So
Well, look at that stuff then. I just watched yeah, anyway, I just watched Fox and the Hound, and I don't think Fox and the Hound is necessarily a mess, but go that era, you know?
yeah, that wouldn't lend itself very well to a live action remake.
I
'Cause then
guess.
you'd have to just computer animate the Fox and the Hound. And
Well, not necessarily those ones. I'm just saying that era.
yeah,
But I think Elio shot itself in the foot because, yes, How to Train Your Dragon is out and it's supposed to be really good and everything like that. But, like, the same studios, kind of, affiliated studios, did Lilo and Stitch. And that is in theaters still. And is making a bunch of money. And then Pixar does Elio. People...
an original concept, and people don't want to go see it. So
Right.
yeah, it doesn't bode well for the movie industry in general.
Except Gato is going to be amazing and we're going to go see it.
That is true, and we did talk about that, but it's subsequently learned. I read a little bit more about it. It's going to be hand drawn,
Even better.
which is very exciting.
Even better.
They have not done any hand drawn animation, basically at all, but a feature length certainly since Princess and the Frog, which kind of killed that whole idea.
Well, it was already dying.
It was already dying, but
It just didn't resurrect it.
That was the final nail in the coffin.
It just didn't resurrect it.
Because that was not that popular when it came out either.
But that has gained a lot of
It's
popularity
gained.
since.
It's gained, yeah.
I think it has a staying power that Elio will not.
No, it won't. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But yes, I am so excited about that. Black Kitty in Venice, hand drawn, sold. I hope it's good. Yeah, so that was basically my news. There's construction going on.
We kind of took a little detour there, and now we're back.
Yeah, now we're back.
I don't know. This was a rainy weekend freeform episode, and it's gonna be our last one for
A long time.
a last normal one.
Yes.
For probably till August.
Yeah, because we're going to try to release not normal ones, very like casual catch up type stuff while they're gone.
We're gonna do some live and unfiltered stuff on the road.
Okay, before we switch to that, let's just talk about what our plans are, because you've mentioned Tuscany, and we've just said we're gonna be gone for July.
Yeah.
So next weekend is
don't
not.
rob us. We have vicious guard cats.
It's true.
They will eat your eyeballs.
One might actually. But we're not going to be recording. So next weekend we are camping. So no recording. And then we are traveling for like the entire month of July, basically. So if you want to hear where we are and what we are doing and things like that, definitely follow us on Instagram, first of all.
You're gonna post some photos.
Many photos, I am sure.
Photos.
Many photos, I am sure. In stories and posts and everything like that. But then we also want to do very casual, like I said, unedited, unfiltered updates or just, episodes that way.
Yeah, so we're gonna go on a river cruise and a boat tour through the Netherlands and Switzerland, and then we're gonna go over to Italy, and so I don't know, we'll have thoughts to say and probably wine to drink, and so it could be fun.
Pastries to eat. Espresso.
Espresso.
Gelato. Last time we were in Italy, I kept track of every gelato we had to figure out the best flavors.
And it was quite a few.
It was a lot. I'm gonna do it again, but yeah. So we are a Disney travel podcast. So we're focusing on the traveling part right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's fun. Anything else to add?
Yeah, I suppose we might have time to do one more normal episode.
Yeah,
like
I do have
Canada Day weekend.
Yeah, I have like a thought if we have time.
I don't.
If we don't,
I work Canada Day this year, but I do get the weekend.
Okay, so we might have one more episode, but we might not.
I'm trying to think. No, we might. Yeah, I do have something to add actually.
Okay.
Almost forgot, but I remember.
Good job. You have good memory.
We got an official as official can be without a press conference and everything, but it was out in like Variety and all the trades.
That's pretty official.
That John Bernthal as the Punisher is going to be in the new Spider-Man movie.
That is so exciting.
So
that is so exciting.
I don't know what this movie's about because we've already been told that Mark Ruffalo's Hulk is going to be in it as well.
What is going on in Spider-Man?
I don't know, but I don't know how Tom Holland's Spider-Man's going to deal with the Punisher shooting some guy in the face.
No kidding. What a different tone. I mean, to be fair, Daredevil was in a Spider-Man movie, but like for 30 seconds.
As a lawyer.
Not
as Daredevil.
No. But that actor, right?
Yeah, it was our Charlie Cox's Daredevil.
Exactly.
But as a lawyer.
Not.
And I think Spider-Man and Daredevil go really well together. They have quite a few comics crossovers and stuff like that, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, I don't know what this movie's about.
What? And there's such different tones, though. Punisher, and also though, is that not just the best casting for Punisher you've ever seen?
Oh yeah,
he's just Punisher. That's it.
He's fantastic.
But I mean, that whole, like everyone in those shows is like perfectly cast.
Yeah, but it's just very interesting because this is the first time, other than the Daredevil Charlie Cox cameo,
he's a really good lawyer, yeah.
Of a crossover between the TV Netflix universe and the movies. Because even I guess Ms. Marvel went into the Marvels, but most of the time
Ms. Marvel existed to set up her appearance in the Marvels. Right. Is how I felt about that.
But otherwise it's been movie characters appearing in TV, not ones that were in TV that then cross over to the movies. Like you didn't have any of the Netflix shows show up in the portals in Endgame or anything like that. So I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, so here's my question. Because I feel like knowing this opens a lot of questions, and this is why I love these little tidbits and then like chatting about stuff.
It's fun to
questions.
Speculate.
Yeah, speculate. So I'm going to ask you two things. First of all, is Kingpin originally a Spider-Man villain? Are we getting Kingpin?
I think he was originally a Deadpool. Maybe he'll show up too. I don't know. I think he might have been originally a Daredevil villain, but then came to prominence as a Spider-Man villain because of the animated series. He was like a recurring villain.
Yeah, because that's what I'm picturing.
There's a lot of crossover there. Okay. Spider-Man just has so many villains.
Yes,
is part of it, but he definitely is also a Spider-Man.
We had a mention of
I think
Spider-Man.
He was originally Spider-Man and then crossed over to Daredevil because it fit better with, I don't know,
tone and stuff.
Spider-Man has bigger problems to deal with. With like your over-the-top
alligator men.
Yeah. Lizard guys and octopi and
Mafia boss, not quite the same.
Yeah.
Even though he's really cool.
So the speculation is that it is going to pick up from Daredevil Born Again with
that was my question.
Kingpin.
This is where I was going with this.
Being mayor and having problems. So I would be surprised if they went that hard into. I
don't know.
Because it's also a Sony movie.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Like, I don't see them making like sequel style, but like how far are the crossovers going? And
then the other thing you got to keep in the background, they have to somehow tie it into the multiverse and Secret Wars.
So this was my like, question number 2. This was question number 2. When we're talking Secret Wars and we're talking about a battle world and all of those types of things, all the speculation for that, are we getting a section that is like the Netflix era characters?
I don't know how else you do it.
Right?
You get Kingpin running this specific
New York-esque
Manhattan area with with your Defenders and I guess Spider-Man.
Like, is that how they're doing that? Are they trying to, like, get Spider-Man in there?
I guess. I don't know.
No,
We'll
isn't
see.
that fun to speculate about,
fun.
though?
It is fun. I honestly don't know how they're going to make any of this work.
I don't know either. And if you guys can pull this off, all the hats off. Like, literally. Like, oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so cool. And I really like Punisher. I'm very confused how the different tones work. Is Spider-Man going to get gritty? I hope not.
I think they'll just have a rated T.
Yeah.
PG-13.
Yeah, that's fine.
Type Punisher, like you're
that
not.
Probably makes a lot more sense.
Which is you can do decent.
You just make
people will complain.
Yeah, but it says he's appearing. It's not saying he's the star of.
Yeah.
You can't have that if he's the star of it. You can have it.
You can have him brutally murder people off camera.
Exactly.
So you don't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You had Charlie Cox showing up in a comedy thing with. I know not everyone liked his appearances with She-Hulk and everything like that, but that wasn't him. Like he can be comedy or he can be gritty, like moody, whatever. And maybe, I mean, Punisher can't really be comedy necessarily, but he doesn't need to be.
Those people are dead.
But he also doesn't need to be necessarily like.
I have PTSD.
So bad PTSD. But anyway, I think it's super cool, and mostly just because like. All the questions it asks now. All the possibilities.
It is kind of exciting. I don't know.
Yeah. I hope they aren't reaching too far.
Well, that's Mr. Fantastic's job.
But okay, do you have anything else to add?
No.
Okay. So that is our show this week. Thank you, El Mule, who's responsible for the custom theme song you heard at the top of the show. You can find a link to his work at our website, disneya.wixsite.com/podcast. It's also where you can find a link to our social media accounts and our email. You can find Disney A episodes on all of your favorite podcast streaming platforms. And if you've rated or reviewed our podcast already, thank you. Hey, there's a bunch of you listening now. There are a bunch of you.
With your ears.
Have you rated us or reviewed us? Because you should totally do that. It takes about 3 seconds. Go. 1, 2, 3. Good job. Thank you. If you know someone who might like listening to us, be sure to recommend Disney A as well. And like I said, check out our Instagram. DisneyA.podcast is how to find us there, but literally just look for Disney A. EH, not A. We get an A+, but EH, we're Canadian. So, I'm Krysta.
I'm Brandon.
And until the next adventure, TTFN, ta-ta for now. Thanks for listening to Disney A.
We're not going to have Sarah McLachlan singing with black and white pictures of Bob Iger. We're not there yet.